there, and welcome to another episode of Regular Beer Reviews, where regular doesn't refer to the beers being reviewed, but to the reviewer, myself. I'm Jesse, and I'm about to review a beer that I've never had before, and one that I wish I would have read the label on closer, or read the label more closely before I picked it up. This is New Planet Blonde Ale, and if I would have just saw those two words at the top, gluten-free, I would not have picked this beer up. I was doing a sampler pack. I was in a hurry. I grabbed a bunch of them, and I threw them in I threw them in the box, man. I've only ever had one other gluten-free beer, just one, and that was Red Bridge from Anheuser-Busch, and it, without a doubt, was the wateriest beer I've ever had in my life. No flavor, no nothing, just water. Alcoholic water. That's what that beer was. I mean, the crappiest ice beers and malt liquors have, more character than that beer did. So I'm a little skeptical, but got my fingers crossed that I'm going to like this better. Let's see what the numbers say. Beer Advocate gives this a 66, which is poor, and that's with 44 ratings. The Bros Have Not Had This Beer and Rate Beer, these are the lowest numbers I've ever seen, gives this beer a 6 overall with a 2 in the style. So that's horrible. I mean, this beer has an ABV of 5% and an availability. The availability is year-round. It's from the New Planet Beer Company out of Boulder, Colorado. Now, apparently this beer, I guess, used to be called Tread Lightly Ale, I think, because on Rate Beer, that's what the description says. And when you first click on the page, you go to it says Tread Lightly Ale, and it talks about how the name's changed for whatever reason, and you have to click to another link to go to the Blonde Ale page, but in the description it still calls it Tread Lightly Ale. So it says, Tread Lightly Ale is a great balanced beer made from fermented sorghum and corn, hops and yeast. It is a bright beer with light taste and body and without the aftertaste of other sorghum-based beers. Inspired by the old style America Pilsner, our Tread Lightly Ale appeals to a new style beer drinker looking for a healthy alternative, low caloric content, and great taste. So, I mean, I'm going to hope for the best here, but I mean, I've only ever had one gluten-free beer, and the numbers don't necessarily mean anything. I mean, I could, good bit of smoke there. I could, I might love this beer. I don't know. So, let's see. I got I have the tumbler here. Gonna go on ahead and pour this. And that looks like water. Wow. That is very, very light. Very clear. Clear as it could possibly be. Very carbonated. This is, bubbles everywhere. The head, maybe a half a finger when I poured it, and it is gone. It's just kind of a frothy ring there. The appearance does not look good. That looks more macro than the cheapest adjunct lager I've ever seen. So I'm just going to go on ahead and get a nose on this. I wish I could say I smelled something, but I just don't. I mean, kind of sweet grassiness, a little bit of graininess. Maybe a little light fruitiness, like white grapes or something. It's only 5%, but because there's nothing there to mask it, I think I smell just a tad bit of the alcohol. It almost reminds me of a cider. That's kind of what it smells like, as a cider, but just without that really strong apple profile. But yeah, there's not really anything there, so I guess I'm just gonna jump into this one. God, that is not beer. That is not beer. Oh man, let me just say, I have like a new sympathy for people with celiac. I'm so sorry. Pick a cider. Drink a cider any day of the week. If it's between this or a cider, go with that because they're naturally gluten free and they don't taste like water. This is horrible. I mean, oh man, it tastes like water. Um, I'm gonna have to take another sip just to try to just to try to assess what I'm tasting. Oh wow, yeah, I'm tasting. It tastes like if you had a cider and you put ice or something in it and let it sit there for hours and the ice just melted and it was just watered down water. That's all this tastes like to me is water. I'm getting a slight bit of like a light apple or a light like white grape flavor, and that's it. I'm not getting anything in the flavor. I mean, I really am not getting anything from this beer. I mean, I'm getting carbonation, and that's it. So this is not a good beer. This, from what I remember, this is about like Red Bridge, just watery, flavorless, nothing there. As a matter of fact, Red Bridge might have actually had a little more flavor than this. I mean, this is just bad. This is not good. So there's nothing. I mean, nothing at all here. Honestly, if if you have to have things that are, if you can't have gluten, I'm gonna say go with a cider. They're naturally gluten free. They're actually pretty tasty. I mean, I'm not a huge cider fan, but I'll take a cider any day over this. This is water. That's what this tastes like. Other than the light carbonation, that's pretty much, I mean, what this has the mouthfeel of. I mean, this is not a good beer. Mm. I I would not have picked this up had I paid just a little bit of attention. So, but at least I got to review it. I'm gonna give this a 2 out of 10. And the reason it's not getting a 1 is because it technically is beer. So I'm gonna give this a 2 out of 10. I mean, this is just bad. Don't pick it up. Unless you can't have gluten and you want a beer, you don't want a cider. Um, I guess pick it up. I mean, again, this is only the second gluten-free beer that I've had, but I've seen reviews, I've read reviews of other beers that are, some of them are sorghum based. Excuse me, some of them aren't, but other gluten-free beers that they say actually have flavor and taste like beer. So if you can hunt down any of those, do it. This is just bad. So I'm going to give this a 2 out of 10. This is really bad. This isn't even, I mean, technically it is beer. That's why it's getting a 2 out of 10. But in my opinion, this isn't even beer. This is just like, ugh. So, thanks for watching. Keep watching again for more reviews. Prost.